Hello, everybody. Hold on. Hot coffee, hot coffee. Welcome in. It's the High Noon Rant. I am Pugs Moran. We do this every Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. High noon, saying the quiet part out loud since 2021. That's what we say. That's right. 3+ years. Sheesh. Not 3+ years, 3 years. Hold on. Let me get everything set. The reason we're a little bit late today, little bit, not as late as we have been, but we're a little bit late today is because I can't get a decent camera angle. I can't. This is a new studio. Those of you who have been with us for a while, you know that we used to do the show from the Comfort Nest Studios high atop the 1%er compound in beautiful downtown Highland Park, Texas. Well, we've moved across town. We are now securely on the campus of SMU, and I can't get a good background. I can't get a good. This is. I don't know. I've got this beautiful giant TV, and I'm trying to showcase it because there's nothing but a white wall behind it. So why not? Why not? And I just can't. I don't know. Does this look okay for you guys? I don't know. We're not going to get completely bogged down on that. What do we do on this show? Well, every day we sit here and we go through all the day's news. Headlines, current events, whatever it is that people are talking about, that's what we get into here. If it's being screamed about on the cable news boxes or it's on the headlines of newspapers. Again, I just say that reflexively. I don't even know that newspapers are seen anymore by the public. I mean, do you walk into a store? There used to be a time when you could stop at a red light and you could look at the corner and there'd be like a stand there. Of course, I grew up in 1960s New York City. No, I'm kidding. But that was a thing. You could look at a headline and you can get a little bit of news while you're. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. Anyway, whatever it is, this is the new thing. We give you all the day's headlines, current events, hot topics. How do we do it? Well, I'll tell you what the headline is. I'll give you a little bit of explanation as to why it's a headline, what's happening in that story, and then I'll offer my 2 cents and we move on. That's it. This show is designed to give you just a little bit of information on everything that you need to know about this day. We do this by executing 4 very strategic quarters. They're segments. I call them quarters because football. First quarter, we call antecedently on this day. This is where we take a look back at this day in history. What were the big news events on this day throughout history? Sometimes we go way back, right? So, be prepared for what the Cairo Times had to say about the building of the pyramids. Now, 4 quarters, first quarter, antecedent. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I'm distracted because there's people out front and I got my window open and I'm looking at them and I'm trying to figure out what are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? I don't know. They seem to be just milling around. All right, we're not going to let that distract us. Quarter 2 is birthdays. You know what that is. Birthdays. We're not going to waste your time explaining that. Quarter 3 is deaths. These are the people who died on this day. This maybe does need a bit of an explanation. Quarter 3, the deads, we open up a person's life resume who died on this day, and we go, what are they known for? And then we decide, based on our own Christian Judeo values and how we were raised, whether or not they went to heaven or hell. That's quarter 3. I like that. We get to stand in judgment. Then comes up on quarter 4. That's all the day's news. That's the bulk of the show. That's the big part of the show. The first 3 quarters really shouldn't spend more than 30 minutes on, but sometimes we do because I start out long like this. Let's say hi to the people in the chat room. What do we got here? We got a Ricky. Hey, Ricky from San Antonio. Welcome. Jeff Ballard is here. We got James. We got Frank. We got Adam. We got April. Oh, speaking of, we do have to mention this. I know I said that today we were going to start with Pledge Week, but I just can't bring myself. Folks, you know me. I'm an open book. Got a bit of the depression. It's been kind of weighing on me. Don't really want to pander for funds, so I appreciate you. But Pledge Week, it takes a little different energy, and I'm going to have to start that maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Anyway, this show is completely produced through you, the listener. You've been doing it for over 2.5 years. You drop a little something in either the PayPal or the Nah, don't do right. We don't do PayPal. I can't figure out PayPal. I got money in there and I can't get to it. Ugh. I mean, there's not much, but there's like $20 or something in there. That would go a long way to keeping the lights on around here. Cash App or Venmo are probably my most preferred means, or a big sack of cash on the front lawn. That'll work too. Anyway, every day we like to honor the person who tipped the biggest on the show before, and today we're going to give this to April. Here's why we're giving it to April. I think I skipped over April. I think April should have been an executive producer, and I skipped over her accidentally. So we're just going to make her executive producer of today's show because April is that's what happens when you're such a good and consistent tipper. If we somehow get screwed up on who's supposed to be the executive producer of the show, I'll just default to like April or Leslie or Peter or I can't. I'm not gonna name names. I'm sorry. I intentionally didn't say two more names. And if that was you, don't be offended. I just don't want to get into the naming people. So today's exec producer, April, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Once again, if you want to be tomorrow's executive producer, you've just got to be the best tipper of the day. Thank you. Yesterday, by the way, I got to appreciate my guy Barney and my guy and my guy Frank. They also tipped. Thank you. They did that thing, where I say, treat me like I'm your bartender, treat me like I'm your pizza delivery guy. You don't have to tip one big bomb at the end of the month or a couple of times a month, as some of you have started doing, which is incredible. You keep this show running with your own money. That's great. I appreciate that. But thank you to Frank and to Barney yesterday. All right, let's get started. Don't worry about it, Frank. Frank, one of these days I will get to Frank says PayPal is all I can do. Well, first of all, I don't know. It's all you can do. Even there's other options, but it's totally cool, Frank. I appreciate it. That I will get to it. I will figure it out. Thank you. It was not in vain, your support of this kind of current events driven hot talk radio that doesn't get into the politics or the bullshit, right? Although if we're being honest, we get into a lot of bullshit around here. We got Cecilia. She says, hi, Pugs. I just came on board since I can't my fix from the freak anymore. You guys did a great job filling in for the downbeat. Oh, you're awesome. Look at her. Look at her. That's what it's about. Cecilia. Look, I appreciate that. That is really, real. Thank you, Jeff. Everybody give Cecilia a big warm round of applause. There's a hole. There's a hole in your middays. You used to like Ben and Skin. By the way, Ben and Skin's got a new YouTube thing up there. Okay, so subscribe to the Ben and Skin channel, Ben and Skin. I watched that this morning on YouTube. They can't say a lot. You're not getting a whole lot of information about the freak thing. That would suggest. Let me just put my radio guy hat on. That would suggest that they're probably all still getting paid through their contracts and. You got to honor that. Again, don't be like, what? Why didn't they just tell the suits to go out? Because they have mortgages and families and, radio, the shows and the personalities that you hear on those shows. Those are fun people. But those fun people go home and have to be real people. So, cut them some slack. I saw that KT was doing something today on YouTube. I watched a little bit of that. He struggles a little bit with the technology, but hey, look at us, right? 2.5 years ago. Remember those early shows? Remember how weird we were? I was like, how does this work? I still have problems. He'll get there. KT's a big personality. He's going to be great on YouTube. KT Fun Tweets on YouTube. Jeff Kavanaugh, too. I think it's Jeffrey Time. I think that's a new one that Jeff Kavanaugh just launched. He says that he's going to be going live today at some point, although forgive me, I don't remember exactly what the time was. But he's going to be going live with some big breaking news in deli meats. That was one of the promises that he gave today on Twitter. He said, hey, I'm going live. We're going to talk deli meats. So if you ever wanted to get Jeff's take on deli meats, no, I'm kidding. It'll be great. He's a terrific personality as well. Who else do I need? Mike Reiner. Mike Reiner did a long form interview with a radio dude. You can find it on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and put Mike Reiner interview and then go to the filters and put like today or whatever. It's the most recent thing. It was interesting. Mike seems to be not giving any details, but he's going more in depth than I think we've heard from any of the other, as is his right, as an elder statesman, as the perceived general of that whole operation. So he had some interesting things to say. Again, nothing earth shattering. These are all gentlemen. They really are. These aren't the guys that are going to be like, oh, fuck that, bad. Look, they're professionals. This is the business. It's heartbreaking, but like I said, support them in whatever they do. If you were a fan of them as the station as a whole, now find it somehow in your heart to follow them individually. And who knows, maybe one day they all come back, whatever. Things are weird. But there you go. Okay, so I think we got everybody all caught up on that. What do you say we get started? It is the High Noon Rant for the 30th day of April, year of our Lord 2024. April 30th it's a leap year. It's the 121st day of the year. That means there's 245 more of these remaining. So get those New Year's Eve plans started. 245 days left in 2024. What are you going to do to make this year memorable? Did you already do something? I haven't done anything to make this year memorable. Let's do quarter one. We call it antecedently on this day. What is antecedently on this day, Pugs? Well, I'm glad you asked. Just a reimagining of the old this day in history. We take a look at things that have occurred on this day throughout time. We try to find patterns, rhythms, ways that we can apply them to maybe what we're experiencing today. Do certain things happen the same day every 100 years or so? Let's look for those kinds of things. Antecedently on this day in 1789, on the balcony of the Federal Hall on Wall Street. That's in New York, don't you know? George Washington takes the oath of office to become the first president of the United States. I don't even know that building. Like, is that a building we're supposed to know in American history? The Federal, what is it called? The oath of office at the Federal Hall. That's not Independence Hall. I know Independence Hall. That's in Philly. What is this Federal Hall nonsense I'm hearing about now for the first time? Antecedently on this day in 1803, the Louisiana Purchase. The United States purchases the Louisiana Territory from France for $15 million, more than doubled the size of the young nation. Yeah, you ever seen like a picture of that Louisiana purpose? Louisiana Purchase? Like, it's not just Louisiana. It's just like that entire part of the country was just called, I don't know what it was called, whatever it was. It went from present day New Orleans, like all the way up to Canada, like all the Rocky Mountains, like all of those dumb mountainous states, I don't know why they're dumb. Colorado's actually beautiful. Yeah, big deal. Louisiana Purchase. Do I have a hot take on it? Not presently. We'll move on. Antecedently on this day, 1945, we talked about yesterday the marriage of that cute little couple, Ava and Adolf. They got married yesterday. We talked about that. They got married in the bunker there, in the Führerbunker, or whatever it was called. Actually, that's literally what it was called. Führerbunker. Talk about how they got married today. Well, today they killed themselves. Yeah, today was the day. They had honeymoon. Some honeymoon. How was your honeymoon, Adolf? Still fascinated by that relationship there, because again, I don't know anything about it. It's not to say that we collectively as people don't know anything about it. I just don't know anything about Hitler and Ava's relationship. I'm not, that brand of history never really crossed my plate. Yesterday, I theorized that maybe they had like a Lucy and Ricky kind of thing going on, where she was always trying to get him to, she was always trying to get involved in his business the way Lucy used to try to get involved in Ricky's business down at the Tropicana or wherever it was. Where did Ricky work? Doesn't matter. Don't get distracted, Pugs. It's a stream of consciousness. Yeah, but today they killed themselves. And do you think like that's what they killed? Do you think like he killed her and then he killed himself, or did she kill? I don't know. See, these are things. Not even all that interested. Moving on, antecedently on this day in 1975, the fall of Saigon. This is weird because I referenced this yesterday, didn't I? For some reason, I talked about the U.S. embassy workers being lifted by helicopters off the rooftops during the fall of Saigon. I don't know what context I was talking about it yesterday, but here we go. It was on this day, 1975, the fall of Saigon. Communist forces gain control of Saigon. The Vietnam War formally ends, and the unconditional surrender of the South Vietnamese president, Duong Van Minh, happens. So, like, are we just, like, we're always like, our overall record, we're undefeated. That doesn't sound like we won Vietnam. That sounds like the people, our side, the South, they quit. It sounds like they quit, and we were there, and the North came in and took. I grew up like raised by the Vietnam War generation. And it always seemed like we won, like old guys, not old guys. They weren't old then. They were probably in their 30s then, but look with beers, we won that war. And the other guy would be like, it was a draw. I'm like, now I'm looking at it in history and I'm like, it was neither. I don't think it was a draw, or I think we just quit. We just went, and that means we lost. I know the argument. Oh, if we were allowed to just, take the muzzle off the pit bull, we'd have been able to win that. Yeah, okay, but we didn't do that. And, that's like it's like a sports loss, right? It's like, well, if we had just converted on that 4th and 1, yeah, but we didn't. We didn't do that, and this is what happened. Fall of Saigon on this day in 1975. Antecedently on this day in the year 2004, U.S. media releases graphic photos of American soldiers committing war crimes against Iraqi prisoners at Abu Ghraib. These were the crazy pictures, they were freaky pictures, right? They were like pictures out of a Marilyn Manson video. Dudes on boxes with bags on their heads and like their dinglings hanging out. And then you had do you remember that one? Like we really punished like two stupid grunts. They probably one from, I'm from Nebraska. I'm from Tennessee. We just two random American grunts. We just blame that whole thing on. At least publicly. Like imagine that. You're just like some 17-year-old high school dropout or whatever. You joined the grunt crew and you're over there. And all of a sudden there's this like big scandal, this global like what are the human rights kind of thing. And all of a sudden you're like embroiled in it. And you're the one that the news puts on TV. You're the one that, get your name. And there were names. There were names like this one girl. Wasn't her name Lindsay or something? I don't know. She was like particularly trashy. And it was just like, we went, hey, she's disposable. Let's blame her for it all. That girl's now probably like in her 30s. Well, actually, how old would they be? What year was this? This was 2004. So 20 years ago. She's probably in her 40s. She's like, yeah, that was me. They blamed it all on me. And I guess technically in the moment they did it. But, it's more of what was permitted, what was okay. Why was that thought to be an avenue they could pursue with their downtime with these prisoners? I don't know. I just always think about those soldiers who were just grunts, who we just decided, some higher up military dude with salad on his chest decided that he didn't want to take a demotion, so he was just going to blame it all on a bunch of kids, a bunch of dumb hillbilly kids. That's all they were. I mean, I don't know really, but I'm just talking about the average normal American kid who joins the Marines, right? Or the Army or whatever it was. They're just kids. They're just normal dudes. Antecedently on this day has concluded. That's right. Not a whole lot. Today was not a great day in history, so I don't have much enthusiasm for what's happening. By the way, is the TV on? I think the TV, you can see it. The TV's on CNN today. Just because there's news going on. There's like stuff, and if something happens, I want to be able to turn and look at it. Let me fix the camera a little bit, get that full screen in there. There you go. Yesterday, I'd like to thank Ross Rubio. Thank you, Ross. Ross was the only guy who saw that I had something special on yesterday. I had found a YouTube video that's just some Dallas apartment. Now it's at night. It would have looked cooler if I was doing a night show, but I'm doing it at noon. All right, 1:45. Let's do this. It's birthdays. Let's talk about people who are celebrating birthdays today. Born on this day in 1940, Burt Young. That guy, it's Paulie from the Rocky movies. I don't know what else he did. Like, I thought that guy was basically like a retarded guy. Like when I saw Rocky, it's that whole family. I have talked about this before about Rocky, about how Adrian made the greatest transformation in film history. She went from a retarded woman working at a pet store, which is what she was. She was, don't kid yourself. If you watch the original Rocky, Adrian had problems. Now, maybe she wasn't retarded, like mentally retarded. I don't even know, is that a specific diagnosis? I know it's something we're not supposed to say, but it is a real thing that affects people. And that's the kind of character she appeared to have been playing in the original Rocky. And then she goes on from that to being like some Beverly Hills socialite, some like Real Housewife of Beverly Hills from a pet shop. Paulie never really evolved. Paulie was Adrian's brother, and he was like basically retarded. What was going on with that family? Paulie, like imagine you look at your kids and it's Paulie and it's Adrian in the original Rocky for Adrian, because all of a sudden Adrian got sexy. Like it's like what? He becomes heavyweight champion and her boobs grow. It was like she got much sexier. Moving on. Happy birthday, Burt Young. You didn't evolve. You were always kind of a Neanderthal, slightly slow, always screwing up. Burt Young, born on this day in 1940, Paulie from the Rocky movies. Born on this day in 1948, Wayne Kramer. Let's kick out the jams. MC5, anybody? Detroit power rocker MC5. We'll talk about the MC5 again a little bit later because of somebody else who's going to be mentioned here. But the MC5, if you're unfamiliar, they are often regarded as the first American punk band. Now, I don't know how fair that is because I believe at the same time that Wayne Kramer of the MC5 was kicking out the jams in Detroit, I think the New York Dolls and David Johansen were doing some stuff, and I think Iggy was doing some stuff. So, wherever we're going to call the ground zero of American punk rock, I think it's debatable. But certainly Wayne Kramer and the MC5, they deserve a... They were more garage to me. Like they were like a garage band, just real heavy feedback, hard driving. Kick Out the Jams is a great song. If you want to we used to listen to Kick Out the Jams in high school before football. Just a dude with a boombox and Kick Out the Jams. Just very cool song. Moving on. Happy birthday, Wayne Kramer, born on this day in 1948 from the MC5. Born on this day in 1975, Johnny Galecki. That's the dude that went from Roseanne straight. Well, probably not straight. There were probably about 15 years where he did nothing. He went from Roseanne to, what's that show? Big Bang Theory? All right. 2 quality shows. Good job, Johnny Galecki. Good work. Born on this day in 1975. Born on this day in 1982, Kirsten Dunst. Oh, isn't she a doll? I like Kirsten Dunst. I like her husband. Kirsten Dunst is married to that Landry from Friday Night Lights, who's, now like a big-time actor. What kind of American are you? Civil War. Yeah, he's everybody. You talk to anybody who sees that movie, they say that's when it kicked up. They say, oh, that movie was good, but then when Jesse Plemons, that's Landry, that's his real name. When Jesse Plemons went, what kind of American are you? Oh, my God. Even in the trailer, that gives you chills. That dude's a movie star, and he's married to our birthday girl, Kirsten Dunst. I think it's cute how they do movies together. They choose to do movies together. It's like the last few movies you've seen Jesse Plemons in, Kirsten Dunst has been in it as well. I don't know if it's a cute thing or if it's I don't trust you. I don't trust you either. Kirsten Dunst used to have affairs on sets. She did. Look it up. She had a lot of boyfriends back in her younger days. Maybe that's what's going on with old Jesse. Maybe Jesse's like, I don't need you hooking up with no 20-year-old Ryan Gosling again. Or whoever it was. Moving on. Happy birthday, Kirsten Dunst, born on this day in 1982. Born on this day in 1985. Holy cow. Gal Gadot. It just gets better. Or is it Gal Gadot? I like to call her Gal Gadot because I'm an ignoramus. Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. She's wonderful. That's for sure. She is really pretty. I don't know what else to say about her. Don't know if she's a good actress or not. Who knows? She's good at Wonder Woman, and she's a good at Wonder Woman, and that's all that pretty much counts. Don't know if she could do like, Mildred Pierce. I don't know if that's in her wheelhouse, but certainly Wonder Woman. Happy birthday, Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot might not get any roles anymore. Or she will. I don't know. It's so confusing with Hollywood right now because Gal Gadot is one of the, she's like, you want to talk about pro-Israeli. She used to be in the Israeli military. We're hearing about all, going into Rafah. We're hearing all this stuff. That's the Israeli Defense Forces. That's probably what it is. I was like, Federation? No, it's got to be Forces. The IDF, she was a member. She was a part of her. She's from Israel. It's part of your mandatory Israeli citizenship. You got to go in the IDF. Good for her. Wonder Woman. Born on this day in 1985, Gal Gadot. Or Gadot, whatever. What are you, pretentious? Born on this day in 1988. Here's another one. Oh my God. What are we doing here? What is this day? This day is like God, when God makes babies on this day, especially female ones. God's like, I'm kind of feeling it today. He made Gal Gadot on this day in 1985. And then in 1988, he made Ana de Armas. Woo! I'll take some of that Gadot with a side of de Armas. Ana de Armas, Cuban actress. Didn't know she was Cuban. Just read it right here. It says next door name. What is she most famous for? Well, I think in my world, she's most famous for doing a bunch of movies that I'm like, yeah, I don't want to watch that. But she is beautiful. I'll give her that. She was Marilyn, right? And that didn't Netflix do a Marilyn movie recently or something? Nobody liked it. Here's the problem with it. She was prettier than Marilyn. That's right. It's another one of those cases. It's rare. It's very rare, but it's happened twice recently. Twice recently, actresses have portrayed other actresses who are known as global beauties, and the actresses who portrayed the known global beauty was better looking. We first saw it with that. Is it Lily James who played Pamela Anderson in the Hulu movie, Pam and Tommy? You know, the Pam and Tommy movie? Sebastian Stan, the Winter Soldier, as Tommy, and Lily James as Pam. She was hotter than Pam. She was hotter. I'm watching. I'm like, this is gonna be hard to cast this because she's gonna have to be prancing around in this movie, you know, like Pam Anderson in 1990, and that's gonna be pretty tall order to fill. She filled it. She ran over it. She was better. Lily James. There was a scene where Lily James was on the set of Baywatch, portraying Pam Anderson, filming Baywatch. She looked way better than Pam. She looked better than Pam. And it's crazy because Pam pretty much changed a lot of our young male lives when she first appeared. But Anna de Armas, our birthday girl, she did the same thing with Marilyn Monroe. She's better looking than Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe is not hot. Sorry. I'm going to say it again. She was all right. She's a Toledo 8. That's what she is. Marilyn Monroe. On her best day, a Toledo 8. You know, maybe a Rockford 9. I don't know. But a Waco 7 for sure. But she is not a Hollywood 10. Marilyn Monroe was, man, that was hype. She was pretty girl, but not, come on. Happy birthday, Anna de Armas. You were prettier than the woman you played. Born on this day in 1988. Born on this day in 1991, Travis Scott. I don't know anything about Travis Scott. I'm a man in my 50s. I know he's famous. I hear his name. Didn't he kill people? He killed people, right? Didn't he take his, like, no. Is he the guy that did the concert where everybody got crushed? And we were all outraged by it because he didn't seem to care. And then weeks went by and he still didn't seem to care. And then, everybody was like, he'll never have a career again. And it didn't affect him at all because we have the memories of gerbils. And we're just like, that's a good beat. Who's that by? And they're like, Travis Scott. And I'm like, oh man, that's a great beat. I'm supposed to hate him because he killed people, but that's a great beat. And we all just move on. We move on with the great beat. Stupid smart TV. That's why the screen went black. Happy birthday, Travis Scott, born on this day in 1941. All right, let's move on to quarter 3. What do you say? These are the dead people. Let's talk about some people who died on this day. Who died? Dead on this day in 1945. We got a twosome. That's right. We already talked about them. Ava and Adolf. How sad. Straight the hell, you two. What are we even doing? The premise of quarter 3 here is that we decide whether or not these folks go to heaven or hell. Ava and Adolf, I think that's etched in stone. All right, there you go. Dead on this day in 1982. Dead on this day in 1982, Lester Bangs. You guys know who Lester Bangs is? Lester Bangs was a music critic. I used to read him all the time. Cream magazine is where I remember him from. Or not Cream, but Spin. I think he wrote for Spin as well. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think this was Lester Bangs. I don't. It's who is Lester Bangs? Now I got to think. Lester Bangs is the guy that was in Philip Seymour Hoffman played him in Almost Famous, or played a version of him or something. All right, that's right. No, I know who I'm thinking of. Lester Bangs. He did do Cream. He did do Cream, but not in the 80s. He was not a part of Cream in the 80s. I was really big into the rock magazines. Rolling Stone, Cream, Spin, Tiger Beat. Kidding. Wasn't Tiger Beat. I didn't waste my time with Tiger Beat. Circus. Remember Circus? Circus was cool. So Lester Bangs is a very well and highly regarded misanthrope of a music critic. He was famous for his takedowns, for his destructions. Famously, he was fired from Rolling Stone magazine for, I don't know, criticizing somebody. He went hard on somebody, like Canned Heat or something like that. He went hard on somebody, and Jan Wiener was like, look, nobody's going to want to be interviewed by us anymore. So he was fired from there, and then he went to Detroit, which is where Cream was from, and he started up Cream. Very, like I said, very... History has been kinder to him than I think he experienced in his life. He was kind of an asshole, so he's going to hell. He was an asshole. People didn't like him. Couldn't hold a job. 30 years after his death, 40 years after his death, he's heralded as one of the great. Oh, he is the guy. This is why I mentioned MC5. Remember earlier we were talking about Wayne Kramer. It's his birthday. Okay, so Lester Bangs died today. Lester Bangs is the man who created the term punk rock. Lester Bangs, the phrase punk being attached to that kind of music came from him writing about the MC5, which is why a lot of people say the MC5 are the first punk band. It's like, he was talking about a genre of music of which he was focused on the MC5, but that's where he used punk rock, this new punk rock. Lester Bangs, still going to hell. So I understand he was quite the dick, but born on this day in 1983. Going to put him in heaven preemptively because I love this guy. This guy is so awesome. The stories about this guy. Now, there are some, he could throw down when he needed to, but he was known as a generous, bigger-than-life personality. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Muddy Waters. The great Muddy Waters. Or do you call him McKinley Morganfield? That's right, Muddy Waters, the king of the blues. Big man. Worked on a documentary about him briefly a couple of years back. Fascinating guy. That's when I really got neck deep into Chicago blues. It had always been something that I was aware of because of where I was from, being raised on the south side of Chicago. Every couple of blocks, there's another blues club. So I was aware of it, but it wasn't anything that really grabbed me until, I don't know. I think probably I was in my early 30s. No, I wasn't. Yeah, that's when I first started. But anyway, Muddy Waters, we're putting him in heaven. I always tell the story about one of the greats of blues music, Coco Taylor, and about how I got to drive her. Like we spent 45 minutes in traffic, taking her to a remote. Back when I was a producer, she couldn't get around much. So we're like, we'll come get you, Coco, because we wanted her to sing at our remote. I had to drive, pick her up, had a Celica, and this big giant blues legend sitting there in the car with me and her grandson in the back seat. Anyway, Muddy Waters, good man. Although don't overturn too many rocks because you'll probably find all kinds of organized crime stuff. And I don't need that. I just want to remember Muddy Waters for the guy that he was. Born on this, or dead on this day in 1983. Dead on this day in 2022. The world said goodbye just 2 years ago. We talked about this. We were doing this stream live. We went deep on this. Naomi Judd. Remember Naomi Judd? She killed herself. She had something wrong with her, right? And she was, oh man, I don't, you know what? I just feel like I want to put her in heaven. Don't question me on this. I just feel like I want to put Naomi Judd in heaven. So screw you if you got a problem with that. All right, there you have it. Quarters 1, quarter 2, and quarter 3 are in the books. Once again, we'd like to thank our executive producer of today's show, the lovely April. Thank you so much. Again, I think I skipped over April last week, and I feel bad about that. Want to make sure she gets her due. If you would like to be a tipper and you would like to be tomorrow's executive producer, all you got to do is be the biggest tipper of the day, and you can do that by hitting up the Cash App or the Venmo or however you want to do it. All right, let's keep going. Let's move into quarter 4. Let's talk about all the day's news and headlines, the things that people are discussing. A lot of stuff to get into today. Nothing as important as my deep Bon Jovi documentary breakdown from yesterday, but, still things that are pertinent to this day. Number 1, let's talk about Israel and Palestine. Let's get that out of the way really quick. Anthony Blinken, our Secretary of State, he's over there again. He's going, come on, you guys, cut it out. And they're like, no. And he's like, come on, you guys. Now Egypt's involved. Apparently there was a deal that was created by the Egyptians that is going to get us some hostages. So this is what we're hoping for. I talked yesterday about the fact that we've got 2 American hostages over there that they released photos of the other day. And I didn't even know there were any American hostages over there. That's how not concerned we are about American hostages. So the next time, just remember, the next time a news station decides to get you all whipped up about some American hostage in some jail somewhere on the globe, just remember that you don't fucking care. You don't really care. You're being manipulated. You don't give a shit about some journalist who's stuck in a Russian prison. You don't give a shit about some contractor who's in a Syrian prison. You certainly don't care. We don't care about these 2 Americans because, no one has even mentioned it. Of course, I'm being facetious because I do care about these Americans. I think we should care more. But it just strikes me that there have been times in the past when there have been an American somehow being held somewhere and news media decides to make it a big story. And I'm like, why? Is it expedient for you politically in this moment to turn this into a big story? Is this why you're letting us all know and telling us all that we need to be ginned up? We should be ginned up all the time. Think of this Israeli situation with Hamas that occurred on October the 7th as a non-American thing that happened to other people, but there are Americans over there. 2 of them, 2 dudes. They released their pictures. So anyway, the Egyptians are working on a deal. And the deal looks like it's probably going to be accepted by both sides, but who knows? Netanyahu and the Israelis are kind of wild cards lately. We don't know we can't really control them the way we thought we would. I think the American idea of this was always, all right, we'll give them all the guns and, we'll bolster them and we'll have their back globally. And then when the shit hits the fan, they'll listen to us. Oh, well, the shit has hit the fan. They don't seem to be listening to us. They're being gentlemanly in their, reception of our counsel, but they're not. So anyway, they're hoping to get a good number of hostages back. That's the hope. What else? What else is happening over there? Oh, yeah. While these Egyptian negotiations are going on to get some of these hostages back, Netanyahu is still ramping up plans for an invasion, a ground invasion of Rafah, which is a city in southern Gaza. So, hostages is going to be an exchange. It looks like it's going to be an exchange for Palestinian prisoners, which, kind of an exchange is that. You can't blame Israel for going, what? So you want us to give you dudes who bombed places and who are known terrorists for citizens who didn't do anything wrong? I mean, obviously there's a bad guy here. The bad guy is the one holding the innocent citizens. Of course, they might argue that no citizen of Israel is innocent. Oh, well, okay. You know what we're saying. All right, moving on. There's a dude who used to be president who's on trial in Manhattan, and boy, oh boy, were things cooking this morning. Interesting developments in the Trump trial. This is the Stormy Daniels hush money trial. There was no trial coverage. There was no trial yesterday, I guess. And then today it's all trial. And then tomorrow they're off again. What is going on here? You can't do 5 days in court in 1 week. What is that about? Everything just seems so jacked up. This should be that judge. Well, the judge has this judge, this should be his case, and he should work this case until it's done. I don't even know if it's the judge. I'm just saying, scheduling problems. Come on. This is a trial of a former president. This is a big trial. And you guys are doing it. Well, we'll do 2 weeks, 2 days on, and then 3 days off. And then come on. So here's what's happening over there today. So this Judge Merchan, I don't know how we're saying his name. I only read the shit. I don't watch the news. I have the pictures on, but I have the sound off, so I don't hear pronunciations. This Judge Merchan, he found Trump in contempt. Found him in contempt. Remember the gag order. Trump walks out of trial and he goes, blah, 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 and he says all kinds of things. And the judge goes, you can't say that. And he goes, I can't use First Amendment, blah, 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 liberal judge, all that. And then the judge goes, all right, dude, if you do it again, I'm gonna hold you in contempt. I'm issuing a gag order. You got to shut up about all of this. You're just causing problems. And he's like, burr, 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 and he does it anyway. And so this has been going on for weeks. And everybody's been like, is this judge going to rule on whether or not he was in contempt or not? Well, he did. He finally did. He did today. Judge Merchan finds Trump in contempt and fined him, I think, $1,000. It's there's a limit on how much you can be fined for this. And so it's nothing. The money is nothing. And then he said, and if you do it again, I'm going to throw you in prison. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not going to throw him in. I mean, I wish that he would, because I think that everybody should be treated equally, and anybody else going through this would certainly have to, suffer that kind of punishment for this act. But I ain't gonna throw a former president. I just don't see it happening. It should happen. Now, I'm not saying it should because this is a clear violation of the rules set forward. I'm saying that it should because all people should be held to the same account, whether you're a president or not. Secret Service has to sit outside the jail cell and make sure, or stand outside the showers. That'll be fun. Imagine that. Trump's in the showers. Secret Service dudes fully decked out in their suits, just standing there. It's raining on them, making sure that nobody drops the show. Moving on. What else? Oh, also, it should be noted that apparently, according to reports in this, I don't know, reports. Who knows what reports are these days? According to reports, Trump's really mad at his lawyers. God. He's really mad at him. He's like, what? How can a chick with such a nice body not be so good at lawyering? What is he thinking? He just hires a bunch of fembots to defend him. And then one dude, he hires like 5 fembots and like one 60-year-old white dude. and he's mad. Apparently he's very angry at the way things are going in this trial. Well, there you go. That's the big news today. Oh, also Time Magazine. This is weird. Time Magazine has a big article, front page, of course, cover boy. Trump doesn't do not covers. He's on the cover of Time Magazine. And apparently everybody's freaking out because they asked him about violence in the elections. They asked him if he thinks there'll be violence at the elections. And his answer, so Trump, his answer was, well, if we don't win, maybe. It depends. It depends on the fairness of the election. Some people hear that and go, yeah, it totally does. Whereas like most normal people, remember I talk about crazy 15% on the right and a crazy 15% on the left. That's accounts for 30%. It's the 30 loudest and dumbest among us. The rest of us are in this 70% in the middle. Okay. To those of us in that 70% in the middle, that sounds absurd. That sounds absurd. Like the fairness of the election depends entirely on if I win or not, because I can't lose. Come on. That is some Deion Sanders level hubris. That is crazy. So anyway, people are buzzing about that today. That's from the Time Magazine article. Okay, we're moving on from that. Now we're going to move on to campus problems. That's right. The campus problems are still continuing. College campuses all across this country are having protests, gigantic. Jewish students don't feel safe. I suppose other groups do feel safe as well, but what's being heavily promoted is the fact that on college campuses around the country, because of these pro-Palestinian protests, sit-ins, whatever you want to call them, Jewish students have been fleeing college campuses. Columbia University last week, they suspended all classes. So we're only going to do like Zoom classes because students didn't feel safe. Columbia's president now is saying Columbia, and again, this is happening everywhere. And we'll talk a little bit about USC, UCLA, University of Texas, right here, right down the road, Penn, Northwestern. I mean, there are just all of these. Every college campus has a group of these kids who are like, let's do something to feel important and feel like we're contributing. That's what this is about. It's about kids trying to get involved, trying to be engaged. They're not evil. They're just dumb because they're kids. These kids are reacting emotionally to an absolutely terrible thing. We all saw, what happened on October 7th. They don't seem to be reacting as emotionally to that. They seem to be reacting emotionally to the humanitarian crisis that is occurring in Gaza. The entire world is reacting emotionally. But these kids, these are the ones that are kind of clogging up the works. It's becoming a problem. They're building cities. They're building these temporary tent cities on college campuses. Columbia, which seems to be the center of attention here, it's not the first. It's not even the first where this. It's just, want to know why Columbia is the center of attention? I'll tell you, because all the news networks are located in New York City. And you can you can cover that story like crazy. Columbia is simply the apex of this whole movement because that's where, Fox News is and CNN and MSNBC. They're all right there. They get in a cab, they can go cover it. They don't have to get Anderson Cooper on a plane to USC. They don't have to they do have a permanent guy here in Texas. Who's that guy? There's the chubby Hispanic guy. I don't remember his name. He's down there. He's covering the University of Texas. But that's why Columbia is such a big deal. It's why when New York gets 5 inches of snow, the whole rest of the country has to hear about it on the news. It's like, because that news person was inconvenienced in their morning commute. Columbia's president is threatening to have police move in and clear, we'll call it the quad, whatever, clear this temporary setup. She ain't gonna do it. Not the president of Columbia. That ain't like Texas. Down there at UT, they're just Greg Abbott, the president of the president of the University of Texas. I don't think has anything to do with it. It's just Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott, the governor, is like, come on, boys, let's ride. And they're just going in there and they are cleaning people out. And it's sometimes it's a rough look. And the rough look is what I believe Columbia is afraid of. I don't think Columbia is feckless. This college president is just absolutely feckless. They make all of these demands of these students, and then they place deadlines on these demands, and the deadlines pass and nothing happens. That is the very definition of feckless. So now one of the latest ones is, in addition to the Columbia president threatening to have them swept out if they don't, leave by a certain deadline. The newest one is she's suspending, I believe it's a she. She's suspending all of the students involved in the protest. Okay. Right. I don't know what that means. They're not in class anyway. Oh, you mean when this is all settled and everything goes back to normal, they're not going to be allowed back? All right. Here, I want to show you this, though. We do have some video just to give you an idea of what's exactly going on. This is a video that a couple of Jewish students, I believe this is UCLA, a couple of Jewish students at UCLA, they made this video to show exactly what they mean when they say they are being stopped from entering campus by these protests. This is, this just makes me want to start swinging on people. Absolutely no reason for this. It's highly unnecessary. It's needlessly provocative. And this is the problem here. So you can have compassion, I guess what I'm trying to say. I try to have this compassion for the people of Gaza and understand that Israel needs to calm down, that we need to allow these people some time to help, to get some food, to get some water, to maybe, I understand, but they still got the hostages. No, Hamas still has the hostages. We have to be diligent in drawing a distinction between Hamas and the people who were just born there, man. Now, you might say, oh, half of those people are probably pro-Hamas. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Stop it. It doesn't matter what they are. Half of those people are human beings who didn't lob a bomb, who didn't blow anything up, who didn't shoot anybody, who didn't fly over on a paraglider on October 7th and slaughter a bunch of people at an EDM concert. They're people. They're humans. Maybe they have different political worldviews. Who knows? You would too if you were born and raised in Gaza. So you got to be able to keep compassion for those people while still looking at these American teens. And that's what they are. They're basically 18, 19, 20 years old who are just causing all kinds of problems. Okay, this comes to us from UCLA. This is a UCLA student. Now he's wearing his Star of David outside his shirt. He's got it popped. A little provocative. He might say, why should I hide my faith? And I'm like, well, you shouldn't, but before this, did you pop it like that all the time? Was it because if you're now doing it more, I understand the emotion behind that. It's my people are being threatened, and now is the time to stand tall. But that's also in and of itself provocative. So can we all just cool down? Here's what's happening at UCLA. Let's watch this. It's a Jewish student trying to get to class.
You guys have closed the entrance. We are UCLA students. I have my ID right here. I'm being blocked off. Not by the security guard, but by you two. You three. Oh, look, they're making their burger while I'm going this way. Excuse me. This is what they do. Everybody, look at this. Look at this. I'm a UCLA student. I deserve to go here. We pay tuition. This is our school. And they're not letting me walk in. My class is over there. I want to use that entrance. Why can't I go? Will you let me go in? This could be over in a second. Just let me and my friends go in to class.
We're not engaging with that.
Then you can move. Will you move?
We're not engaging with that.
Okay, we're going. We're going. I'm going in. I have my hands up. I'm not hurting them. You guys have closed the entrance. We are UCLA students.
And at the very end,
I have my ID right here.
Come in.
I have my hands up. I'm not hurting them.
All right, we'll freeze it right here at the big dude, where the big dude comes in. He's white knighting for these girls who are standing there trying to stop this kid from going to class. Oh, these people. I have a question. A couple of observations about what we just watched here. And before we do that, before I have this, I want to make sure everybody understands where I'm at on this. During the pandemic, when I was asked to wear a mask certain places, I wore the mask. You know why? Because I don't know. Because I'm just, I don't know. doctors, scientists, people who studied harder while I was at keg parties in college. They said that this is what we need to do. I took a look around the country, took a look around the world, and I went, okay, this does seem to be something. So maybe we should all pull together. So that's it. I willingly wore a mask. When it came time for the masks to be lost, I lost the masks. Why are these people wearing masks? Now, a lot of them are still wearing that M90 mask or whatever, M95 mask. They're the pandemic masks. A lot of these kids, these protesters, are still wearing these masks. And my question is, are they wearing the mask in 2024 because they're just mask fetishists? Like this is something that defines me as a crazy liberal and I'm just going to not let it go. Like, is that why they're still wearing the mask? Or are they wearing the mask because they understand that they are doing something unnecessarily provocative and they don't want to be seen? Are they wearing the mask to hide who they are? Or are they wearing the mask because they're just one of these weirdos who you still see? Have you ever been driving down the road and you see a person alone in their own car wearing a mask? I mean, what? Why? What are you doing? You're alone in your car. All you're doing, if your fear is that you're going to catch something from somebody in the car, well, you're the only person in the car. And if you're wearing the mask, you seem to be turbocharging you. Like you're just sucking up there's nobody else in the car, is my point. What is wrong with you? So weird. I did have an incident with a lady who was mask bashing, let's call that. And I know it sounds like I'm mask bashing. I'm not mask bashing. I'm like, why are you still wearing a mask? Well, what? That's so weird. Go to the grocery store and you see otherwise perfectly healthy people and they're still wearing masks. I'm not going to get into the effectiveness and all that of it. I don't know. Whatever. If a doctor, when I go to the doctor and I say, what'd you find, doc? And he says, hey, I found this. Here's what you need to do. I do it. Because he's a doctor, because that's what I want. So when the doctor said wear the mask, I wore the mask, and I will do it again. I'm sorry. I'm just not one of you guys going, I'm going to do my own research on virility. And shut the fuck up, okay? And I heard on Alex Jones, shut the fuck up, okay? This isn't for you. This isn't your stream anyway. Something else happens, and they're like, well, some of the things that we can do is we can wear a mask. I'll wear a fucking mask again, all right? But I'm not going to turn it into like some big political statement. It's just that I don't know about this stuff. So, well, maybe I'm the fool who still has some semblance of trust in our institutions, like the World Health Organization. Oh, I know, you can't say that. Can't say that because they're all bad people, evil people. They work for the lizard men. Whatever. So stupid. However, all saying that stuff, I've just established who I am. I don't get why these fucking people are still wearing masks. I don't get it. I see it. I'm at the Kroger with my kid. I told this story on the air. I'm at the Kroger a couple weeks back, actually, probably a couple months now at this point. And it was a Friday night and there was a drunk lady. She was a drunk lady Friday night, Plano Kroger. She's on the phone. She's talking to her friend. She's like, let's get, they're talking about the bar they're going to go to. It was that whole thing. She was trash. She was like a trashy Plano lady, like in her 40s, and she's just like, rah, rah. So there was this little old man and he was wearing a mask. And he was trying to, he was going through the checkout thing, and I was in the self-checkout, but the little old man was in the last regular checkout lane next to us, so we could see him. And this drunk woman, she just started going, "Look at that guy!" Well, actually, started out with her talking to the person on the phone. It's like, "There's this idiot wearing a mask, motherfucker. Yeah, I'm talking to you." Like she was saying it loud enough so that he could hear. And I'm standing behind her and I can see, and I don't know if this woman doesn't know what's going on, but I could see this man's arms. This man was probably 85 years old. He had bruises all over his arms and random bandages. This man was obviously sickly, okay? And his choice to go to the grocery store filled up his cart, this poor old man. Like he doesn't have anybody to do it for him. He's got this level of stuff going on in his life that he's got, the bandages from the IVs and all this stuff. He's obviously going through something. and he's at the grocery store, and now he's got to take shit from some drunk in Plano going, Biden's America for you. Oh my God. Fuck you. What is wrong? That person is wrong. Leave the old man alone. So point is this. I understand that there are some people out there who are going to be, look at the context clues, okay? Is it an 85-year-old man with obvious medical problems walking around the grocery store with a mask? Leave him alone, okay? You don't have the slightest thing what he's going through. It may not be for the reasons you think, oh, look at that old 85-year-old Biden guy or whatever, Fauci apologist. This old man is just trying to survive another couple of weeks on this planet. Leave him alone. He doesn't need your shit. So I got into it with her a little bit. I told you about that with my kid. I was like, my kid was like, let's go. I'm like, you can't fight with people in public. Jesus. I always say about this show is for that middle 70. It's not for the crazy 15 on the right. It's not for the crazy 15 on the left. If you've never been kicked off an airplane, this show is for you. If you're still invited to your family's Thanksgiving, the show is for you. And if you've never gotten into a fight in a grocery store or a Target, this show is for you. So that's why we didn't push it. But it was just like, man, people are so triggered. But I do get it when you see a dude driving around in a car with the mask on. It's like, what the fuck? You're alone, dude. And I also get it when you see otherwise healthy people like at the store and they're still wearing the mask fetishist. So I don't know what's going on with these kids, these pro-Palestinian kids blocking that dude, but they're wearing the masks. And again, I ask, is it because they are mask fetishists who are that far liberal that they just don't want to give up on their, I'm better than you because I'm trying to protect people? Is that what they're doing? Or do they just not want to be seen because on some level they know what they're doing is bullshit? I don't know. We'll see. Charlotte. Let's talk about Charlotte, North Carolina. There was a big incident there yesterday with United States Marshals. They were serving a warrant on a dude who had gun charges. This guy, real piece of shit, 39-year-old redneck douchebag who's already in trouble for like guns because I'm a responsible gun owner or whatever it is. Marshals served a warrant on him because he's a ex-con piece of garbage. And as they approach the house to serve the warrant, this dude just starts gang, just shooting at him. 4 dead policemen yesterday afternoon in Charlotte in the blink of an eye because some crazy dude who shouldn't have had a gun and they were trying to take his guns away from him decided that he was going to use them guns for the only thing that he thought guns could be used for. Ugh. Well, they killed him. Of course they did, because the entirety of the North Carolina police industry descended on this scene. And yeah, they here's the story. 4 law enforcement officers have been killed, 4 injured and 4 others injured in Charlotte. And by the way, that 4 is a number that went up overnight. The number was 3 yesterday, and then it went up to 4. I guess one of the injured died. 4 members of law enforcement were shot and killed, and 4 were wounded while they attempted to serve 2 warrants in Charlotte. Around 1:30 p.m. yesterday, the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force was serving active felony warrants for possession of a firearm by a felon and felony flee to elude, and then a bunch of charges. And these are all the charges. The man later identified by authorities as Terry Clark Hughes Jr., 39. Sounds like a blues man. Terry Clark Hughes, 39, allegedly began firing, striking multiple officers as they approached the door. Officers on the scene requested immediate backup. The suspect allegedly continued to fire as more officers arrived. Well, that's the story. So we got 4 dead cops. Here's what we know. We know the guy's dead, and we know that he was an asshole, and we know that he was already a criminal, and they went to go get this criminal off the streets, and he decided to show what a criminal can do, and he killed 4 police officers, 3 from the Marshal Service, 1 from the Charlotte Police Department. Let's see here. Oh, here's a story here in Dallas. This is an interesting one coming out of Dallas. You guys familiar with the Dallas Unitarian Church? They are doing something controversial. They sure are. Dallas Church opens pregnancy center with a full slate of abortion resources. It's a church here in Dallas pushing back against what is expected of churches here in Dallas, because Texas has some pretty restrictive rights when it comes to, well, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, women's body issues. I'll tell you about this whole abortion thing. We men need to shut our traps. We should not have an opinion on this. We should support whatever the ladies decide because this is, in my opinion, a woman's health issue. This doesn't happen to men and women. This happens to women. We can debate all you want. Actually, it's going to be all you want because I won't be participating in this debate about where life begins because I don't know. You don't know. Nobody can really say. Are we talking about a spark of life? I don't know. My point is this. This is a big story in Dallas. This is a weird story. I'm surprised that they haven't been firebombed yet. I'm not putting it out there. I'm not saying that's a thing, but there are some radical groups who don't like this. You can't get an abortion in Texas anymore. So here you got a group. Here's what they're doing at the Unitarian Church. They've built a new women's health resource center. And one of the things that they offer there are not abortions. You can't get an abortion because that would be illegal, and they're not looking to do anything illegal. However, they are helping these women get to Albuquerque, New Mexico, where they can still receive abortions. And they are helping them do this with information and contacts and all that. And I think that is illegal. I think by the letter of this new law here in Texas that we saw last year, I think that is illegal, or at least it could be illegal. I don't know that we've seen any precedent-setting cases where people have been arrested or jailed for being complicit in a person seeking an abortion. And I don't even know if seeking an abortion is in itself illegal. Getting one is, performing one is, and helping somebody have an abortion is. Anyway, leaders of the First Unitarian Church of Dallas cut the ribbon Friday on a new pregnancy resource center that aims to provide comprehensive reproductive health information and to act as a foil for crisis pregnancy centers. The Truth Pregnancy Resource Center is a direct reaction to Texas's strict abortion bans that made the procedure illegal in all cases, but those that threaten the life of a mother. That's it. That's it. I mean, my God, not even rape. A woman gets raped and she gets pregnant from the rape. And in Texas, she's got to have the rapist's baby. Oh, my God. That is just so staggeringly disrespectful to women. And let me tell you, I have been disrespectful to women in my life. Just ask two of my ex-wives. But that is crazy. All right, moving on. Here's a big story you may have heard about. This is all the big news, all the big rage for us fat guys. There is a problem with the deli meat. Don't eat the deli meat. Actually, that's not true. Whole bunch of German-produced deli meat, capicola, is being recalled. So if you eat the fancy deli meat, the fancy capicola, and I don't know if it's what brand. You know what? I'm going to tell you what brand. I'm going to tell you what brand because I do. All you got to do is click on the story. By the way, capicola, you know what capicola is better known as or more popularly known as in American popular culture? Can you guess? What is capicola? What TV show used to eat capicola all the time and not call it capicola? That would be The Sopranos. That's right. Capicola is what gabagool actually is. Hey, but the gabagool. And it's just that's capicola. Nearly 100,000 pounds of capicola and prosciutto has been recalled. Stores in Texas. Prosciutto, you know what they call prosciutto on The Sopranos? Prosciutto. They called everything wrong because that's how the Italian families do it. Because in these Italian families, sometimes you have a northern Italian background that mixes with a southern Italian background. And then you get the Italian version of what we call in this country Spanglish. You get sort of a mashup of the two pronunciations from the two different dialects in Italy. So that's why The Sopranos called ricotta cheese ricotta. That's why they called capicola gabagool. That's why they called prosciutto prosciutto. Yeah. Mozzarella was mozzarella. Let's hey, you got the fresh mozzarella. You know, that's a very real Italian thing. So gabagool, if you were ever wondering, it's capicola. It's a mashup of the two languages, two types of Italian dialects. A prosciutto recall would have Tony Soprano rolling in his grave. Consup, North American Incorporated, a New Jersey-based firm, is recalling close to 100,000 pounds of sliced Stockmeyer prosciutto. It's actually prosciutto, but prosciutto. It's produced in Germany. And here's why. This is why, for me, if I heard about this, if I had this in my refrigerator, I'd be like, let's go for it. Come on. What are the chances? Here's why it's being recalled. So 100,000 pounds of this stuff was shipped out of Germany without being fully inspected. Okay. So I guess, stuff comes out of Germany. Germany's got laws. They're like, you got to check all these boxes. Check, check, check. Okay, now it can go off to America. Well, something broke down in the German system where they didn't fully inspect all of these things. That's it. They didn't find, nobody's dying. Nobody ate it and got rushed to the hospital. It's just the Germans are like, better safe than sorry. The Germans are getting all that way. And if I know anything about the Germans, they're really overzealous with, dotting I's and crossing T's and all that stuff. So I think we're probably okay here. I think if you have this, what's it called? Stockmeyer prosciutto in your refrigerator, go ahead. Look, I'm telling you, how the Germans are. They're just a little bit, it is not perfect. So that's all. It just missed one dude. One dude didn't do his job and now it got through. What are the chances? Here's what I would want to know. To make it feel a little bit better about eating this recalled prosciutto. This company got any problems? Like this German company, do they have a long history of rat poop in their food, something like that? Because if not, and I don't think they do, because I don't think German companies do that. German companies are all, every German product that is made is the Mercedes-Benz of that product. It is. It really is. Audio equipment, or at least I don't know if it's still the same with audio equipment, but watches, I mean, my God. Everything made in Germany. So this prosciutto is probably fine. So, although it does enter a bigger question about deli meats. Do you guys like deli meats? I love deli meats. This is a very freak-oriented topic, but since we're talking about it, I love the ham roll-up. Do you guys know the ham roll-up? Oh, the ham roll-up is fantastic. Here's what you do. You get yourself some Polish boiled ham. It's got to be Polish. I don't want this Black Forest nonsense. I want Polish boiled ham, and I want it to be sliced paper thin. Krakus, I believe, is the brand that you should get. Boar's Head also does a very nice Polish boiled ham. Get yourself some paper thin sliced Polish boiled ham. All right, and you take it, you get in the paper at the deli, put it on the counter, open it out. Take a couple of pieces. You're gonna need a couple of pieces of ham because you're paper thin, right? You just don't want it to be. You take that. Here's what you do. You take a little cream cheese, right? You got some cream cheese. Take a spoon, boom, bam. Drop that cream cheese right in the middle of there. Spread it out nice. Maybe then some onions, some scallions. I don't know how hard you want to work for this. Do you want to do some chopping up? Because if you do, you can do that at any point. You take the ham and the cream cheese and whatever else it is you put in the cream cheese and you roll that bitch up and you roll like 20 of them up and you just put them on a plate and you just pop logs of ham roll-ups. Ham roll-ups are good. Deli meat draft? Okay, we can do a deli meat draft. If it's me and I'm at the deli and you're like, all right, top 5 deli meats, go. Here's what we're going. Pick number 1 off the board and this is easy. Corned beef. Corned beef going number 1. Going number 2, pastrami. Pastrami's going number 2. Going number 3. We're going to do some roast beef. I love roast beef from the deli. Oh my God. A deli roast beef sandwich with a slice of cheddar cheese? Come on, get out of town. You want to try and melt that? You put that on a hot dog or a hamburger bun, you melt that in the microwave? Get out of here. That's Arby's right there. You just made Arby's at home. That's delicious. All right. Corned beef, pastrami, roast beef. We're going to come in here with some, I know this is, it's a reach. It's a reach here in the 4th round of the deli meat draft. But we're going to reach and we're going to go with buffalo turkey breast. I like it. I don't know what to tell you. I like buffalo turkey breast. That's 4. Okay, number 5, this is a tough one because there's a lot of very flavorful, savory deli meats that I could put in the 5th slot. We've already accounted for corned beef, pastrami, roast beef, and buffalo chicken breast. So what is 5 going to be? I got so many in my head. Yeah, all right. I'm sorry. We're going to do it. We're going to do Polish boiled ham. There we go. I just realized that I didn't put Polish boiled ham on there. There you go. That's your deli meat draft. That's the kind of stuff we do on this show. Corned beef, number 1 pick off the board. Corned beef from the deli. Really good. Love it. Corned beef sandwich on rye bread with some mustard and Swiss cheese. Get out of here, please. And if you got coleslaw, you just throw a whole bunch of coleslaw on that thing and you pretend like you ordered it at a New York deli. That's how they give it to you there. Corned beef, pastrami is number 2. Roast beef is number 3. Buffalo chicken breast is number 4. And Polish boiled ham, number 5. That's your deli meat draft. Thank you, folks. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? What else is going on? We got a deli meat recall. Britney Spears. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Let's talk a little bit about Britney Spears. Oh, what's Barney get into? What are you guys doing? You guys, that's redneck sushi, Jeff. What is roast beef with provolone? Man, that sounds good. That sounds good, Smee. Roast beef with provolone. Jeff Ballard says corned beef, cream cheese, and dill pickle, and roll that up. Yeah, Jeff. Jeff's on it. Jeff knows. Jeff knows how to eat. That's good stuff. Jeff also says, get yourself a meat press, and it's easy to make healthier slices of deli meat. If I'm eating deli meat, I don't give a shit about health. With all due respect, I appreciate what you're saying there. Good looking out, but nah. If I'm going to the deli, I'm getting deli meat. I'm probably not on a diet unless I'm getting that buffalo turkey breast. Because now that I think about it, when I was on a diet, I ate a lot of that deli meat buffalo turkey breast. Better times when you can afford such luxuries as deli meat. Screw that. If I get meat, it's like Oscar Mayer. It's like Oscar Mayer and salami, which is good. Don't get me wrong. I like that. But deli meat's a little pricey. All right, moving on. Britney Spears. Let's talk about Britney. Britney's, so it's been 2 years now since Britney was let go. Do you remember that movement? Remember like all these like impassioned young people? This is the cruelest thing ever. Britney has done nothing wrong. These monsters have been holding her in a conservatorship for all of these years, and they don't love her and they don't care about her. We need to free Britney. And everybody's like, wow, okay, well that does sound a little jacked up. These impassioned kids with the hashtag Free Britney movement. Maybe they should be listened to. Well, that was 2 years ago, and we should have never listened to them. No, they're fucking idiots, if I'm being honest with you. No reason. That was so dumb. We let Britney out of the conservatorship, and now everybody's like, she needs to go back into the conservatorship. She needs... Apparently, at some point recently, after the conservatorship, she went on a spending spree, and it's believed that she had dwindled her worth down to a paltry. It was once over $100 million. It was dwindled down to a paltry $2.5 million, which her management team then got it back up to 50 after a bunch of Vegas residencies and stuff like that. But all the people in her life are saying that. And by the way, all the people in her life, who are we talking about here? Her ex-husband and father of her children, Kevin Federline. We're talking about her 18-year-old kid. Her 18-year-old son is saying this. Her mom, I think, her mom was mentioned in this thing. Anyway, we gave Britney her freedom, and she's batshit crazy. And maybe she's allowed to be batshit crazy and spend her money her way. But if you are truly looking out for somebody, she needs to be getting help. Like, I guess she was getting help before. Like, she was actually working on stuff. And then as soon as the conservatorship ended, she just moved into her mansion and got married right away. Remember? She got married right away to that guy, Sam. And now they're divorced. That only lasted like a year. Who saw that coming, right? And then she just started making these crazy videos on Instagram where she's just in a bikini. She looks like a drunk lady at a Carlos and Charlie's. Like in the middle of the day, like a 2 p.m. drunk lady on vacation, just doing crazy stuff on Instagram. But that's in her living room, and she does that every day. And she's just blowing through money. Like, I'll give you an example. So her kids, she's got an 18-year-old son and a 17-year-old son. These are the kids she had with Kevin Federline. Kevin Federline moved to Hawaii. You know why he moved to Hawaii? Because it pays well to be the father of 2 of Britney Spears' children. So he moved to Hawaii. And the kids went with him. Like the 2 boys had their choice. And the boys are like, yeah, mom, sorry, love you, but we got to go. We're going with dad. You're too chaotic. Her oldest son, 18-year-old son, he's apparently just constantly begging her to stop making these bikini videos where she's twirling knives and shit like that. she doesn't seem to give that much mind because she keeps putting those out. But now her mom is talking about all the money that she's going through and how when she visits her kids like every 2 weeks in Hawaii, and she stays at the presidential suite in the Four Seasons. And each trip, hold on, what does each trip cost? So this is what she's blowing through. She could probably just move there like a normal mom. Like, like if she was a normal mom with a whole bunch of money whose kids are mad at her, don't just move to Hawaii so that you can be near them. Hold on. What's the number? It's like some ridiculous number that she spends. Brittany, 42, married third husband, actor Sam Asghari in June of 2022, but in June of 2022, they split up after 13 months. Her sons, Preston, 18 years old, and Jaden, 17, moved to Hawaii with their dad, Kevin, and publicly begged their mom to stop stripping off and dancing in videos posted on Instagram. Jesus. All right. So very complicated being the child of Britney Spears. On the one hand, I look at them and I go, these damn little rich kids. They got everything. They got everything they want. Damn little rich kids. But then what's the trade-off? The trade-off is that mom is Britney Spears. How humiliating. I mean, she's out there doing those weird bikini, I'm still sexy. No, you're not. You're sad. You're not sexy. You went from sexy to sad, Britney. You're sad. And those kids, they've got friends, 17, 18 years old. You know what boys are like at 17 and 18 years old? Jesus. The pop favorite, who has sold more than 150 million records, is now living an increasingly dysfunctional and isolated life. There are concerns that she is burning through her estimated $50 million fortune, splashing her cash on eye-wateringly expensive jewelry and luxury holidays. How much she spend? So she's spending $280,000 a pop every time she visits her kids. So that's twice a month. So that's 600. She's spending $1 million a month, basically, just traveling to Hawaii, staying at the presidential suite. So anyway, there's a bunch of people in her life that are trying to get her put back in a conservatorship. And I don't know how that works. I don't know if that's something that's even a possibility. But Britney is spinning off the planet. Also, it says here that she dropped her Instagram. Britney's off Instagram. Is that real? I don't know. It was the only way that I've been following her the last 5 years is on Instagram, and I don't use Instagram nearly enough. Adam says she's an adult. She can do as she pleases, nor saying has mentally stable, but she was being taken advantage of in the conservatorship. Yeah, not so sure about that, Adam, but you seem to be, so rock on. Tyson Paul, right? That's the big fight that's happening when? July 20th this summer. How do I know that? Because it's my birthday. Here in Texas, Dallas, AT&T Stadium. Mike Tyson taking on a YouTuber. So one of my big questions about the Tyson Paul fight has been, what is this? These guys going to show up with giant balloon gloves and like headgear, and they're going to do a 3-round exhibition. Is this a real fight? What am I supposed? Tyson's going to kill him. And I'm like, is he? What are the rules here? So there was no agreement on what the rules would be. And by rules, I mean, is this going to be an exhibition or is this going to be a real sanctioned fight? Well, we've got an answer on that one. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight decision made as rules have been set and boxing icons send warnings to one another. As boxing fans continue to get their head around the idea of Mike Tyson coming back to fight Jake Paul, a new update has been issued on the controversial fight. Mike Tyson's match, it's not a controversial fight. It's not controversial. Like, just because people are like, that fight shouldn't happen, that doesn't mean they're saying, oh, it's controversial. Well, maybe it does. Maybe it does in a more liberal definition of controversy. Anyway, Mike Tyson's match against Jake Paul will be a fully sanctioned professional boxing fight. The former undisputed heavyweight champion, 57, will take on the 27-year-old ex-YouTuber. Ex-YouTuber? Nobody's ever an ex-YouTuber. We're always YouTubers forever. It never goes away. The former undisputed heavyweight champion, 57, will take on the 27-year-old ex-YouTuber at the 80,000-seat AT&T Stadium on July 20th. on the prospect of the two stepping into the squared circle. Tyson has not fought since his last exhibition match against Roy Jones Jr. in 2020. I don't know anything about that. That's 4 years ago. I don't remember it. I think maybe it sounds vaguely familiar, but no. That fight ended in a draw. Of course it did, because you get everybody excited about Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr., and then it's an exhibition and it ends in a draw. Of course it does, because it was an exhibition, because these guys weren't allowed to really tee off on each other. However, the stakes have been upped even further this time, as Tyson's clash against Paul will be marked on their respective boxing records. All right, how exciting. Let's see, do we have anything else on this? So it's going to be a real fight. Tyson announced the news on his personal X account. He tweeted a photo of their fight promotion poster and said, I wasn't joking when I said that this would be a real fight. See you in July, Jake Paul. He then edited the tweet and wrote, yes, it's a real thanks-in fight with Jake Paul. The fight is understood to be an 8-round contest with 2-minute rounds. It will also reportedly be fought with 14-ounce gloves rather than the traditional 10-ounce gloves. There we go. Fuck you. That ain't a real fight then. You just screwed it for me. That ain't a real fight. They're using 14-ounce gloves. Those are pillows. Those are the pillows. Mike Tyson's not going to... I have questions about Mike Tyson's power at 57 anyway. I certainly have questions about his cardio. I don't care how many Instagram videos I see of him going hard for 15 seconds. Can he go hard for 15 rounds, 12 rounds, 12 rounds? Stop it with that. Tyson's going to kill him. Really? I don't know, man. Have you seen Jake Paul? Jake Paul's a big dude. If Mike Tyson gets a clean chin shot, he hits him in the head, I don't know that Jake Paul's chin has ever truly been tested, then yeah. Does Mike Tyson have a puncher's chance? He's got the puncher's chance that the greatest puncher of all time would have. Mike Tyson can put anybody down with one shot. My point is this. Jake Paul's pretty athletic. He's going to backpedal. He's going to circle. He's going to make this old man chase him, and people are going to boo. But that's how he's going to win this fight. I believe Jake Paul is going to win this fight. Oh, Pugs, what are you talking about? I don't think Tyson wants it. Now, Jake Paul has nothing to lose here. If Jake Paul loses this fight, then he's like, yeah, I lost to Mike Tyson. What? Jake Paul wins that fight, it's like Jake Paul wins. But Mike Tyson's got shit to lose. And I don't understand why he's willing to do this unless he really thinks that he can get one good shot in. I mean, actually, it doesn't have to be one shot. Mike Tyson might be thinking he's going to work the body. And if Mike Tyson can work the body the way Mike Tyson could work the body in 1990, then yeah, Jake Paul doesn't have a chance. Unless it turns out that, holy shit, Jake Paul can take a punch. I just don't know that he can, because I remember Mike Tyson in his prime. I remember him crippling professional boxers with body shots. And I guess Jake Paul is kind of a professional boxer, but certainly not anyone that would be at the level of the heavyweight ranks of fighting a guy like Mike Tyson. So I don't know. What's going to happen when Jake Paul breaks 3 ribs in the 3rd round? Is he going to be able to continue? I don't know. But I really do. I think Jake Paul's probably going to win this fight, because I don't believe that at 57 years old, Mike Tyson is 1/3 of what Mike Tyson was back in 1990. I know. I'm the biggest Tyson. Tyson's my favorite fighter of all time. I think he's hysterical. I think he's scary as hell. And I think that, when he steps into a ring against a guy like Marvis Frazier, don't blink. I mean, Tyson was something, but Tyson is 57. Tyson isn't 21 when he was the youngest heavyweight champion in history. He's 57. And he's going against a 27-year-old who's big and athletic. Look, I know we're all programmed, especially middle-aged men of my age, we're all programmed to just give no credit whatsoever to Jake Paul. Jake Paul is a big, athletic dude. He is yoked. You telling me that dude's a poser? Really? Because he ain't posing with the muscles. He's obviously in the gym all the time. He works hard. And this whole thing, he's not a pro boxer. Okay, shut up. That's what you said 4 years ago. in the 4 years since, this kid, who by the way is worth like $500 million, has been training in boxing nonstop for 4 years at the highest level with the highest coaches and the best people. Does he have it in his heart? I don't know. That's really all we need to know. We need to see, does he have it in his heart to be a champion boxer? But the dude, you can't say that the dude isn't a real boxer. He's a real boxer. It's been 4 years. He's really training and he's really fighting. Now, is he at the level of championship caliber boxer? No, I don't think so. No, he's a palooka, but he's a real boxer. Question is, can Mike Tyson at 57 beat a professional palooka? I don't know. I don't know. And I know it's fun to just think that, oh, this is going to be, I mean, that's how they're, look, that's what they're counting on, man. They're counting on all you guys going, Tyson's going to kill this YouTube kid. And then we all going to buy the pay-per-views or whatever it is. I don't know. Mike Tyson's been smoking weed and been anesthetized for the last 30 years. Remember those stories about Mike Tyson? Like, there was like, I don't know if it's still the case. I don't know, maybe he's better now, but there was like a 20-year period where Mike Tyson had to get like shots. He had to take shots before he could go out. You know how like when you see a rich kid and they bring a tiger to his birthday party and that tiger is all doped up? That's what Mike Tyson was for about 20 years in public. I don't know if he's got that thing anymore, but he does have a puncher's chance. All right, there you go. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. I think it's going to be Jake Paul wins the decision. That's my call. I'm calling it right now on the 30th day of April for a fight that's supposed to happen in July, that I think Jake Paul will win by decision. Let's see here. Who else do we have? Oh my God, Drew Barrymore. Here's another one. Oh God, Drew Barrymore. Did you guys see this? Drew Barrymore did a video, or I guess she's got Kamala Harris on her show. And she like said, oh, you guys got to see this. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Drew Barrymore. Because you know what? I'll talk about Drew Barrymore for hours. This chick is endlessly fascinating to me. Here we go. Look at what she did. Get ready to feel so damn cringe. Again, Vice President of the United States Kamala Harris appeared on the Drew Barrymore show. And apparently this is an outtake from a little give and take between the two of them. Buckle up, Buttercup, because this is really cringy. Here we go.
I've been thinking that we really all need a tremendous hug in the world right now.
Yeah.
But in our country, we need you to be Mamala of the country.
Oh. Oh.
I've been thinking that we really all need a tremendous hug in the world right now.
Yeah.
But in our country, we need you to be Mamala of the country.
Okay. Let me just point this out. Drew Barrymore freaked the vice president out. The vice president doesn't know how to respond to that. That is such a weird, fucking corny thing to say. It's so, the emotion seems so manufactured. See, this is what Drew Barrymore, look, I'm not going to talk about Drew Barrymore. This is what actresses are. You know when I rail against actresses, when I say whenever we do the Dead on This Day game, Q3 of every show where we go through a list of people who died and determine whether they went to heaven or hell. You know why I always put actresses in hell? Because what we just saw there from Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore doesn't have any real feelings other than, just, instinctive narcissistic tendencies that like, I want this, that's the only real feelings. Actresses are completely devoid of everything, and everything that they do show to the public is manufactured. That was totally manufactured. Drew Barrymore is like, the country really needs you to be mom. The nerve of this woman. Even the vice president did not react to that. She was like, yeah, okay, weirdo. And she started to like move back like, this is uncomfortable. That was a really fucking corny thing. Drew Barrymore is the worst. She's nuts. Actually, here's what we should say. She's not the worst. I just said that in the way that, part of my verbal acne. My dog is the worst. Not actually the worst, of course. She's Drew Barrymore. She seems like, everything is wonderful. It's fine. That's good. I suppose on some level we need more of that. But that was fucking cringe, man. That was nuts. That was so weird. Mamala? We just need you to be Mamala. No, we don't. No, we don't, Drew. We do not need the vice president of the United States to be the mother of our nation. Okay. We need her to be a vice president. And I don't even know what that means. Such a weird thing. We need you to be Mamala. What does that even mean? And by the way, here's another fun fact. Drew Barrymore still has a TV show? What? Who is watching the Drew Barrymore show? People who find the Kelly Clarkson show too challenging. I mean, I didn't even know that Drew Barrymore had a show. What did we lose? Ellen, and then suddenly we got like 15 replacements. Drew Barrymore being really weird with the vice president of the United States. How about this one? Today in Rich People News, we like to do this from time to time. We like to tell you about how rich people are, having it better than us. So, it's good to be rich in 2024. This is a little different. This isn't necessarily about a direct benefit that rich people are enjoying today at the expense of us, the middle and the working class. But this concerns a town in Louisiana. There's a town in, not even a town, it's Baton Rouge. There's a neighborhood in Baton Rouge that is a very nice neighborhood. And I don't know if you've ever been to Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge ain't. Baton Rouge is kind of gross. And there's a lot of crime. And Baton Rouge, not really where you want to live if you have some money. But there are a few people who have money and they live in this neighborhood. Well, this neighborhood is now broken away from Baton Rouge and they are creating their own town in the middle of Baton Rouge. They're going to have their own schools. They're going to have their own police. They're going to have their own everything. They don't want to be a part of Baton Rouge anymore because Baton Rouge is bad. It's called St. George. Wealthy white Louisiana residents win right to form their own city and split from poorer black neighborhoods in landmark court ruling after a 10-year battle. St. George will have 86,000 residents across the 60 square mile area. Critics of the new city say the plan is racist and will create a white enclave. Okay, so I want to talk about this. By the way, welcome to today's edition of This Day in Rich People News. So I'm right now currently streaming to you in a place that did the exact same thing, except the place that I'm in, Highland Park, they did it 70 years ago when nobody told anybody with money no. So, and what I mean by that is Highland Park is a city unto itself, completely surrounded by Dallas. We're in Dallas. Highland Park is in Dallas. Highland Park, you can walk to Victory Plaza. In fact, we have on the Katy Trail. We are right there. We are Dallas. But no, we're not Dallas because the people of Highland Park years ago, they looked around and they went, hey, we're a lot richer than everybody else. Why are our tax dollars going to, help everybody else in the city? We should just keep all our tax dollars here. And so Highland Park became its own town. This happens a lot. There are a lot of places like this. It's tax benefits and rich people who pay a higher or who make more money, who bring in more money, who they feel oftentimes rich people that they don't want to have to, share that money with the lessers, with us, with the working class. I mean, that's not how tax works in this country, but okay, they found a loophole and a lot of these people form their own cities. And that's what's happening. And you know what they're going to have? They're going to have the best schools in Baton Rouge because it's all the rich people kids go in there and the rich people get what the rich people want. Is this wrong? No, I don't think it's wrong. I know you're probably shocked by that. You're like, what do you mean, Pugs? What do you mean it's not wrong? Well, the argument on the part of the people, the wealthy people, is this. We work hard. We have nice neighborhoods. Our kids grow up here. We want to live here. But why do we have to send our kids to school? We pay our taxes. We pay a lot of taxes. Why do we have to send our kids to schools that are shitty? I'll tell you something. My 14-year-old son who goes to school in Plano, Texas. Plano has nice schools. Plano has nice new schools. Very nice. Nobody in America would look at Plano schools and go, those schools are dumps. No, they're nice schools. My kid and I, we walk around this neighborhood and we walk around the school that's right at the end of our block. And my 14-year-old son is like, Jesus, this is a middle school. It looks like a junior college. Because it does. The middle school in a Highland Park looks like one of the nicest junior colleges you have ever been to. It is massive. It is massive. It's a middle school for a bunch of rich kids. And it's in the middle of the city of Dallas. But it's, not in the Dallas independent school system. They have their own, I guess, rich people system. I want to address the idea that it's racist. It's not racist. It's classist. It's classist. We need to stop calling things that are obviously classist racist. There are a lot of black people in Highland Park. Shouldn't say a lot. It's a lot. It's not a lot. More than you might expect, I suppose, is a way to say that. They seem welcome. They seem perfectly fine. Why? Because they can afford to be here. It's classism. It's not always racism. This situation that's happening in Louisiana, I don't think it has to do with going to school with black people. It has to do with going to school with poor people. That's what this is. But you see, here's what the rich people do that's so well. They want us to think it's about racism. Because if it's about racism in our minds, then we're not mad at them because we get that because people are different. We don't like people are different. It's the way they keep us separated. If we ever actually thought about it and went, you know what, this actually isn't about racism. This is about classism. This is about people with money not wanting to be around people who don't have that much money. That's what it is. And they live in fear of us figuring that out. Because the minute we figure out that everything that divides us because it's being framed as racism, all of that shit is just a construct. And it's all been done over the course of the last 100 years or so in this country to make us, the middle and the working class, be at each other's throats. Call it racism, and you can get all of us angry at each other. Call it classism, and we have to go, wait a second, what do you mean? You're better than us just because your granddaddy invented, cotton? That's what it is. Well, this has been Today in Rich People News. It's not racism. So this shouldn't happen in Louisiana. It's racism. No, it's not. It's classism. It's classism. It's just like the thing that they have there in India. The caste system in India that we don't have here in America. We don't have it here in America. Yeah, we have it here in America. We just don't call it anything. We just don't call it out or name it or tag it publicly. But rest assured, it exists. Let's see here. You got monkey gangs. There's monkey gangs. Here's a fun little quick story. So there's these gangs of monkeys. Where? Guess the country. I just randomly throw a dart at that part of the country that has monkey problems, the part of the world that has monkey problems. I don't know if we're talking about, what are we talking about? Thailand? I bet they got monkey problems. India, certainly they got monkey. What? New Delhi? Where's New Delhi? New Delhi? No, that's New Zealand. New Delhi, I bet you they got monkey problems. Monkey gangs. Hold on. This is not a breaking news story. We've had global problems with monkey gangs for years, but this story's kind of funny. So Fearless Monkey Gang, where is this? Pop-ups. Cool. You would think that an important story like this would come from a news outlet that wouldn't use pop-ups to the extent that they do. A gang of monkeys have taken action after posters appeared protesting their presence. Lapuri, Thailand. If you said Thailand, congratulations. Thailand, Lapuri, Thailand. They got monkey gangs. They just run in the streets. We've seen the videos. I mean, I wouldn't know what to do with that place. Why do people live there? Why do you live somewhere where there are 2,000 monkeys congregating on the corner? How are you supposed to go to the store? I ain't going to the store. I ain't going to wade through a bunch of monkeys. They're wild animals. I don't care if they have faces and can smile. They are wild animals. Cull some monkeys. Seriously, I don't know. Ugh. So anyway, this town. Here's what happened with the monkeys. So there were all these tourist places around the world that people used to go to visit, and they'd feed the monkeys, like normal towns. We've seen the videos, big cities, and then just monkeys riding on top of cabs. It's crazy. So there are all these cities, and it was called monkey tourism. People would go to these cities and they'd feed the monkeys and they'd take pictures and, everything's good. Then the pandemic hit and tourism dropped off. And the monkeys got mad. The monkeys got real mad. And over the course of the pandemic, the monkeys started forming tribes. Yeah, it was like a full-on Lord of the Flies kind of thing going on there with the monkeys. It's Lord of the Flies. And now, tourism never really came back the way it once did for this monkey tourism. Maybe it was, the threat of monkeys passing on the next pandemic. Who knows? But the monkeys are still pissed, and these gangs are now bigger and they're meaner and they're running these cities. Now, one city, this city in particular, this town in Thailand, they put up all these signs all over the town, warning signs. Do not feed the monkeys, right? To tourists, people coming through here. Well, if you're a tourist, what are you going to Lapuri, Thailand for if not to feed the monkeys? But okay. So they got all these signs up. Do not feed the monkeys. Do not feed the monkeys. And guess what the monkeys are doing? The monkeys are tearing the signs down. Like specifically, that's what they don't get. They're specifically targeting these signs. Like there are other signs and the monkeys are leaving them up. How crazy is that? A gang of monkeys have taken action after posters appeared protesting their presence in a tourist hotspot. Lapuri, Thailand is known for its rich history, but it has another draw for visitors. In this city, monkeys freely roam the streets, rubbing shoulders with the town's human inhabitants. I'm sure the town's human inhabitants love that. This is no peaceful coexistence, however. With primate attacks increasingly common, tension between man and monkey is at an all-time high, and some want to see the primates gone for good. Let's see. We got any more details? One group even put up signs protesting against the monkeys living there. Blah, blah, blah. But in an apparent counter-protest, all the signs were torn down. Yeah, they got pictures of monkeys. Dude, they actually got pictures of monkeys tearing the signs down. Monkeys can't read? What's going on here? Who's teaching who taught the monkeys to read? All right, so we got the guy who slept with the monkey that created AIDS. That guy's a problem. Who's teaching the monkeys to read? Is this Mark Wahlberg? Is this like a whole Planet of the Apes kind of deal? I'll show you these pictures. Pretty cool pictures of monkeys tearing down the signs. I really need to know if this is just a coincidence or if, monkeys can read. Pretty sure they can't read. All right, there's one picture of a monkey tearing it down. Here. Boom. Look at him. There's one monkey. He's tearing that thing down. He's going to town on it. Don't know if you read it. Now, here's a bunch of them working together as a team, tearing down a monkey sign. That might not even be a monkey sign. I don't read Thailandese. I don't know what language is that. I don't read that. I don't know what that sign is. There you go. A couple of monkeys. There you go. There's a couple more monkeys. Look at them. They're working together. Look at these guys. They work in like strike teams. You got like these two right here. You got these two monkeys and you got this guy up there. He's like, can I help with anything? And then this guy over here looking out. He's like, I got you covered. Tell you, the monkeys working together. All right. So again, there's the sign. Apparently that sign says stuff about don't feed monkeys. No idea what that's about, but here we are. There you go. So don't go to Thailand thinking you can feed the monkeys. They don't want you to. All right. What else do we have here? Trucking along. I think that's it, guys. I think that's it for today. I got a road rage story here about a guy in where else? Florida. This could be one of James Parker's Florida guys. He got some dude before. Okay, so he was driving and I'll just give you the story. They were driving in the road. It was a road rage thing, and he ended up rolling his window down, and he threw pasta on the person. So the person had their window down. That's why I don't drive with the windows down. The person's driving with the windows down. They're angry at each other, and a dude takes his leftover dinner pasta and chucks it out the window, and it goes right into the car window of the other dude, and that dude gets hit with the pasta. That dude called the police. They got his license number of the guy who threw the pasta. So the dude calls the police. The police run the plates. The police go over to the dude's house. We got a report that you threw some pasta at somebody. Dude comes to the door in a shirt totally stained with the pasta that he threw at the other guy. And the other guy had the stain. So that's how he got caught. There you go. Change your shirt. Change your shirt. If you do something that you're going to, All right, now I really think that's it. Let's spend a little time in the chat room, folks. We'll talk if you have anything you want to talk about. Frank says in the chat room, the monkeys operate like a gang. You hurt one, you hurt them all. You're damn right. The monkeys have that code. Send one of us to the hospital. We send two of you to the morgue. That's how the monkeys think. Jeff says monkeys and primates are increasingly becoming more intelligent. Give them 500,000 years and they'll be at the level we are now. Yeah. I mean, I love Jeff, but I don't know. I don't know if this is the kind of information that I would bank the kids' child fund on, coming from Jeff. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Evolution. We getting into an evolutionary conversation. I don't know. Let's see what else. I hate that I can't see the chat room the way I want to. I have I wish it was bigger for me. Frank says, concerning, what I was talking about, how, half the time that we all get ginned up on something that we think is racist, that's a racist policy. They're not racist policies. We need to stop looking at them like that. Us calling them racist policies or believing they are racist policies only play into the intent of the class that is keeping us down. Oh my God, look at me. They want us angry at each other. They want to stay over here and they want to somehow keep us mad at each other. So everything is framed racist. It's not racist. It's classist. Remember that. It's not. Anytime somebody says that that's racist. Now, the problem here is that as a middle-aged white man, if I hear a story like that and I have a conversation with somebody and I say that's not racist, chances are somebody who maybe doesn't have the same skin complexion as me might see it differently and may not fully grasp what I mean when I say that this is classist and not racist. And they'd be like, you're just a white man who don't, it'll get into that, which is not the intent of my statement there. I am not a racist. I just think that a lot of these things are designed to divide us. And so we just say it's racist because someone will go, racism is bad. And then somebody will go, it's not racist. And then all of a sudden, all of us working class people are screaming at each other about something that's racist. The town in Louisiana breaking away from Baton Rouge to become their own town is not racist. It's classist. It's classist. They don't want to be sharing their tax base with poor people. Now, if Michael Jordan, wanted to move into that neighborhood, they would have no problem with it. Or if I should put it, if a big time Baton Rouge lawyer who makes like, $5 million a year, who happens to be African-American, wants to move in that neighborhood, they won't have a problem with it. That level of, never mind. I'm going to shut up. I almost just said something that would surely get me in trouble, but it's how I feel. And I'm not going to tell you. All right, guys, that's going to do it. I don't know really what else. I want to thank one more time our executive producer of today's show. Today's show was executive produced by the awesome April. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, April. There she is right there. Like I said, going through it, it's not feeling great. You know what I mean? Not feeling up. Want to be left alone. This is not any of my friends. This is not people know how I deal with my depression. Don't call me. Don't bother me. We're fine. Just I need to get myself right. So in other words, not going to push hard for the pledge week. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'll feel better tomorrow. I appreciate you guys. Thank you all for hanging out today. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll have a little bit better energy tomorrow. I promise. I don't know what to do. Ugh. Body chemistry, brain chemistry. Ugh. I'm so tired. All right. Love you guys. Again, tip the show if you can. That would be wonderful. I'll put that up one more time. Tomorrow we will in earnest start what we call Pledge Week around here. I'll give you the number we need to get to, and we'll keep a nice little tally of how we're getting to that number. Is there anything else that I want to talk about? So I finished here. I can talk about this for a moment. So last night I finished watching, I was telling you about Rebel Moon on Netflix. I don't know if you guys are watching this, the second part of Rebel Moon, which is Zack Snyder's, basically, like I say, Zack Snyder went, I could do Star Wars. And it's him doing a kind of Star Wars movie. And it's very not very similar to Star Wars. I mean, but the storyline is like, okay, rebels, some evil empire, So I finished watching it. Took me 3 days to watch both movies. So it's like 4.5 hours. So it took me 3 days to watch both movies. And I like it. I thought it was very good. I liked it. There were a whole bunch of things I think I talked about in the first movie yesterday when I said, okay, so the first movie and a couple of tropey things that I thought were like, maybe winks and nudges to Star Wars and not so much ripoffs. That's a ripoff of Star Wars. No, it's not. It's an homage. There's a difference. You can tell. This is not. But after seeing both of them and now, seeing the whole story is good. I want more. I hope there are more. They're kind of like the Avengers. They've got this little, or what's the other one? What's not the Avengers, but who are the spacey people? The Space Adventures with Chris Pratt, Guardians of the Galaxy. They're kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy. Kind of reminded me of that. Like no humor. There was no humor in Red Dawn, Red Doom, Rebel Moon. There you go. I knew I'd get there. Rebel Moon. It was good. It was good. I think you'd like it. Trying to think if I have any observations about the way it ended. I'm trying to think of how it ended. I was half falling asleep. Jeff says Rebel is a decent Kroger knockoff. No, I don't think so. I think it's every bit as good. What would be knockoff about it? What would be cheaper than the Star Wars movie? That movie was made with the same production and all. It's good. And Zack Snyder is terrific. I like him a lot. I don't think it's a knockoff. I think it's an homage. It is in the vein of Star Wars, but I wouldn't call it a knockoff. It's its own thing. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Let's see here. What else do we have? Still want McDonald's. Still craving a Filet-O-Fish. Here's the thing. I moved. So, 2 weeks ago I moved. Remember? Sure. Of course you do. You were here. So I moved and we're in a new place now and we're settled in, but I don't know where anything, there's nothing. I mean, we're just on the other side of town, not even the other side of town, just like 2 miles away. But that 2 miles is a big difference. Where I was before, oh my God, I could walk to a McDonald's. Here, I don't know where there's a McDonald's. I think I gotta, where's there is there a McDonald's on the Lovers? Don't make me go all the way to Lovers and Tollway. That's not my McDonald's. Do I got to go across 75? Is there a McDonald's in that? I don't know. I don't know where my McDonald's is. I've never felt this lost. I've never lived in a place where I didn't know exactly where the McDonald's was. I know where the 7-Eleven is. Got a 7-Eleven at the end of the block. That's handy. That's nice. But who doesn't have a 7-Eleven at the end of the block? So can't feel special about that. Rodeo. Who is this? Rodeo, whatever, says, enjoyed you on the Freak. Really bummed that's the bed. I was amazing. It was amazing. I get what you're saying, buddy. I'm sorry. I just read it wrong. I get what you're saying. No, I enjoyed you on the Freak. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate it. Got stuff to do. Dog needs to be walked. And then I need to, figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. Here's what I do know for sure. I will be back tomorrow at 12 p.m., high noon, every day, Monday through Friday. We do this, saying the quiet part out loud since 2021. Appreciate you. Anybody who helped out the effort today with a tip or a donation, that'll be great. We'll talk to you again tomorrow about all of that and more. If it happens in the world, we'll give it to you tomorrow at noon, the high noon rant here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. I'm Pugs Moran. Thank you so much.